And y'all hit that like. Hit it. Thank you. I was watching a lot of the like later 50 Cent shows, and I noticed a lot of the people were wearing a brand called Amiri, Amiri. And I was like, oh, for some reason I was thinking, yo, it's got to be a new black designer. You know, I was like, everybody is sporting it, even on the podcast. Joe Budden, everybody's sporting Amiri. So I go to look it up. Middle Eastern cat. I'm like, man.
Yeah. Yo, you know, and because we dealt with poverty so much as a community, one of the biggest things that we do is try to present ourselves as not being poor. And one of the ways we do that is by what we wear. And what we try to say by what we wear is, hey, I made it. I am at this.
Right. That's who said as far as the street rap.
What does that mean? What does your jewelry and your teeth mean to you?
It's a trophy. I accomplished something. I ain't had nothing.
I love you for saying that. A lot of people don't like to say that.
It's a trophy. I ain't never got no medals or nothing, no school or nothing. So shit, after jail time and after all that, like, I got my AP, some VVS's.
You know, I used to always, listen, even to this day, right, I wear really cool clothes, expensive clothes and stuff, and I always do it subconsciously to hide, subconsciously the way I feel about it. I use my interest in clothes to hide the way I feel about myself.
Yeah.
The way I dress is an illusion of who I am. None of us, for instance, this is what I learned from my mentor. When you meet somebody, like right now, none of us are who we appear to be. Right now, none of us are who we are, really. Right now, we've been talking, we love each other, we're crying, but none of us are who we are right now, who we letting each other see right now. This is not who we are.
I am at this level. Well, it's the weirdest thing, because I go to the poker rooms out here, right? And I'm not exaggerating. It'd be a dude who looked like a homeless veteran and have a bag, but he have tens of thousands of dollars in that bag. You wouldn't even suspect it. The people who got hundreds of thousands and not millions, they don't dress like that. You know what I'm saying? They don't try to show their wealth. You know, they have it in assets, but a lot of them don't try to be ostentatious with it. But in our community, it's a new money mentality, I think. We always have to say, yo, I made it. You did something a while ago, which I admired. You went school shopping for B, and you shared it on your channel. I believe it was on your channel. But you went to Target, I think.
Uh-huh.
And you was like, yo, I got this for this much. I got this for this much. And to me, it's looking like, look, your kid could be clean and well-dressed, and you don't have to overextend yourself, especially for stuff they could grow out of. But in our culture, what we do, you know what I'm saying? Yo, this kid got to have this $80 shirt that they going to mess up, and they ain't going to appreciate anyway. You know what I'm saying? So.
Absolutely not. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, but you got to think about the level of self-esteem you have to have within yourself to not care about whether somebody knows you have money or not.
Yeah, but that's the issue. Nah, go ahead.
Yeah, our self-esteem is so low that we have to express our worth. We're thinking our worth is material and we got to show it. Whereas other cultures don't have to show it because they're already proud. But then you have to go back in history and wonder, well, why is that? We made it so that you can be proud. We built this shit. Your family. What?
Go ahead.
No, I'm done. Because I.
yeah. My bad. But, you know, it's also people coming from a different level of poverty. Their perspective is different, right? I remember I used to argue with, you know, my light-skinned homeboy, the other one from New York. I don't want to say nobody's name on here. But it's, right? I'm trying to keep people, you know, anonymity, right? And, you know, he Jamaican, so he used to be like, yo, I'm comparing poverty to poverty in Brooklyn. He's like, yo, you don't know poverty. You go to Jamaica, it's a different level. My homegirl from Dominican Republic used to say the same thing. And as I interact with people from these different countries, I see it. But when I went to the Middle East, and I saw, when I lived in the Middle East, better yet, and I saw people coming from Southeast Asia, all these African countries, and the Philippines to come work for $2 an hour, and they in a room 10 or so the size of my living room. You know what I'm saying? And they're still sending money home. They don't have clean running water. They don't have access to health care. They don't have access to they don't have the same guarantees that we have. So when they get that little bit of opportunity, they make the most of it. It's like, I'm sorry for being so long-winded. I watched a show on Netflix a while ago. It was about Indians, like from the country of India. How it was something like Meet the Patels or something like that. How they'll come over here, they'll work at a Motel 6, wherever, that's owned by an Indian family. They'll live in that hotel, go to school, stay in one room, and then they'll stay there long enough to buy it from that Indian family, and then they'll bring more people over, and that's how they start building up their communities. They create wealth for each additional family. You got to work for it. But us, while we still don't have anything, we want to look the part. You see what I'm saying? This is why when COVID first popped off, you've seen a lot of people struggling in our community, right? The same people that was the flyest people, that had all the Gucci, this, that, third, when they wasn't getting the regular checks, they were struggling. Why is that? You looking so rich, you know what I'm saying, on a day to day. You should be able to make it 4 to 6 weeks without a paycheck, right? Yeah. Why you can't make it 4 to 6 weeks without a paycheck? That means you're not that rich. You spending all your money to enrich another community, to enrich communities that don't even care about your own community.
Right.
You know, we you know, slavery, Jim Crow, redlining, you know, racism really did a number on our community, man, on the African American community.
It did. I think the biggest harm that it's done, though, it's created distrust among us, because if we really trusted each other, we would be able to form those bonds to where we could all go into business together. But we have so much hate for each other and distrust, and there's that crab in the barrel mentality coupled upon that makes it hard for us all to, you know, I met a young guy who mentioned that he had friends in a group and they all invest together, and this guy was probably like 10 years younger than me, and I was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah. I was like, who's all in your group? He was like, oh, just me and like a couple of buddies, you know, that I met in basic. We've all just kind of, you know, stayed close, and we all decided to, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, whoa, this is like a couple of years ago where I, you know, met this guy who was telling me this, but I was just like, man. And you know what? I tried to do something like that with somebody we both know, and it fell apart before it even got started. You know what I'm saying? So we don't trust each other enough to do that. And another thing, I met a guy when I was in Seattle 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. He drove for Uber. That's how I met him, right? We ended up going on a date and stuff like that. But he was telling me, so peep this, right? So he's an engineer back home in Africa, right? He used to work on ships, and they would come close to America. And he kept saying to himself, one day when I get over there, I'm not going back. And he did. So he's not allowed to go back home, obviously, because he was a stowaway and stayed over here legally. So if he goes back home, he's in trouble. So he can't even ever go back home. But when he got here, he took all the money that he had, which wasn't much, and was able to get a car, got a loan as an immigrant with no papers, got a loan for like 20 grand. And I was like, yo, how you get a loan for 20 grand? He was like, there's ways. He was like, I just did research, found out that I qualified for this loan, got this loan. Now I got this, and this. You know what I'm saying? He's stable and he makes pretty good money. And I'm like, yo, and it just made me think like, dang, like you said, they come over and they seize every opportunity available, and we're right here and we don't do the same thing. And it's crazy because, like, really, if we put our mind to it and actually took the time to do the research and actually open a fucking book and read. All you gotta do is read. We don't even want to. We don't want to read enough to get the information to utilize it so that we can make generational wealth.
You know what I'm saying? Well, one, let me be fair. When people are in survival mode, I gotta look at it from both perspectives, Mo. First and foremost, when people are in survival mode, they're thinking about the here and now. Granted, we already know that half the people are really, they're stuck in their community, they're stuck in their echo chamber, so they don't get to see the big picture. We gotta at least acknowledge
They
that,
watch
right?
enough TV. They know there's
another
world out there.
Yeah, they're still worthy of criticism. They're not beyond reproach. But that is a reality we gotta take in consideration. But you know the saying, or you've probably heard the saying, the way to keep something from a black man is to put it in a book. This is something I heard 20 something years ago, so now it still applies, right? Basically, cats are not gonna read. They're not gonna put in that intellectual effort. But then a lot of these cats don't have the reading comprehension skills nor the desire to do it. We in the instantaneous, we want instant gratification. A lot of people in our community. We're not gonna look at a 5-year plan. We're not gonna look at a 10-year plan. We want it right now. We want it this month. And that's oftentimes part of our downfall. You feel me? But
slow and steady wins the race.
Slow and steady wins the race. Exactly.
Be doing, even if it's something small. It don't even have to be big. Just small, and just keep chipping at it.